Welcome to part two with Kent here from Belfast in Northern Ireland. How are you doing, Kent?
Okay, Russell, how you doing?
Good. So basically, we spoke about the fight. He didn't win the fight. You had it 10-1 and a shared one, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, I had it 9-3, but I could say 9-2 and a shared one. Right. Once the decisions, we're reading the decisions out. Usyk's demeanour changed once they read the first one out for Joshua. It looked like somebody put a pin in him, didn't they, and deflated him. He went white, didn't he?
Yeah.
And after that, they read him out, and he brought down. I think that was more relief than anything else because he'd been thinking about the decision more than anything else in his life, wasn't he?
Absolutely. How could that fight have been that close?
Were you shocked,
Hi.
Ken? Where were you when you watched it? Were you at home?
I was in Dublin that day, and I rushed back and I got home to my mum's and put it on, and I was scoring the fight, was taking notes.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe at the end of the fight. And I actually texted you, and I says, Russell, they're gonna do him here. They're gonna rob him. There's no way any proper boxing person, could have had any of them scorecards that close.
Yeah, it's that Glenn Fieldman. I mean, Terry didn't want to give him any respect, Rob Tevitt, because they fell out. But I respect what he did there, approaching that judge, because a lot of others wanted on Monday.
Yeah, it was probably the best, most honest bit of media that weekend at the fight. And
do you feel that? Well,
the whole thing about he wouldn't even answer the question. He let the supervisor answer the question. That was, if he had done something wrong, he would have. If he hadn't have done anything wrong, he would have answered.
do you feel, Kent, that what his name? Glenn Fieldman. Do you feel that Rob Tevitt, once he passed him over to the supervisor, do you think that Rob Tevitt should have said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, no, I'm talking to you"? I think he should have said that because that's what I'd done. Poked him there.
I don't think Rob Tevitt would be as confrontational or open to controversy as you, Russell, but I still have to give him a wee bit of credit. He did call him out on it. He did ask that question, which he's never did before. So it was probably the most entertaining bit apart from Spencer, the Spencer Oliver motivational speaking. That was probably the best bit of media we seen that weekend.
And Fraser Clark saying that somebody should have took Mike off him. That was pretty honest because he's employed by him, or he's a manager or something.
Yeah, well, it was funny to see that now that the whole partnership with Sky and Matchroom isn't there anymore. It just seemed to be that they wanted to bury AJ and throw him under the bus at every opportunity. Where before, do you reckon they would have been as honest in the post and pre analyst?
No.
It's funny how the narrative changed because they're with a different broadcaster. I thought Fraser Clark was brilliant. I know he backtracked a wee bit at the end. He's probably only saving face, but he was right on the ball with that, right on the ball.
Let me tell you a little story. Do you remember Adam Smith when Dennis were at Setanta? And somebody were giving Adam Smith an hard time, and he were like, "Oh, giving a hard time." It was like Chris Brown, wasn't it? He went running to Dennis, didn't he, Adam Smith? "Oh, can you get me on at the Sky?" Dennis went, "I'll do my best for you, Adam." Gave him on at Setanta. Dennis did his best for him, but he stayed there, didn't he? But bottom line is this: see that Adam Smith? He's got more people at SAC at Sky than anybody. He's well in, and his father worked there, didn't he? But the point I want to make is, you can see him just backstabbing anybody who gets in his way, can't you? Smith, Adam Smith, we're talking because he's been there years, hasn't he? Now, Adam Smith went down in my estimation, then, didn't you, Bean? Because he's gone from licking Joshua's starfish to sticking a knife in his back. And then production lads as well. They left them cameras rolling on Joshua while they had his meltdown, didn't they? Do you think that HBO would have done that if it had been any of their stars or Showtime? I don't think they would have done.
Definitely not. And what you said there's correct. The camera angle when he got the belts and he threw them out of the ring was like, if that would have been Sky, they wouldn't have followed him. So they were watching. They were watching for an
They were
AJ
loving
reaction.
it. They should have been shut down after
Yeah.
15 seconds. They could have turned away and gone to a commercial break, couldn't they, like they do in films? But they didn't because they wanted him to hang his head, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like out of screen shot when he went into the corner. The cameras were focusing on the middle of the ring. He went into the corner. He grabbed the belt. He spat in the belt and threw them out of the ring. Like they followed him to that corner, so they knew there was going to be a reaction. Whatever happened between then and getting out of the ring and getting back, who told him to come back? Was it Eddie? Was it somebody backstage? It was the most bizarre thing I've seen in boxing in a long time. It took away the good of such a dominant performance from Usyk, and he made it all about himself.
Usyk never got his moment with his family and his country, did he? Really?
No, he didn't. He absolutely didn't. And I think you're right when you said about Usyk. It was absolute relief when his name was called out. I was the same because I was at this stage. I thought that they were going to job him. They were going to job him out of that fight. It was the scorecards were way too close, way too close. But it's funny how everything's changed. Even all week, you know, I was sick of hearing Johnny Nelson and Derek Chisora going at it all week. It was just embarrassing. So it was absolutely embarrassing.
That's how they had to sell it, didn't they? They had to get Chisora and Johnny Nelson, and you know, yeah. It all left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth how they all went about it. But what we have learned from it is this: we were right. AJ is not an elite fighter, and he doesn't have an elite win. And even though he does generate a lot of money, you'd have him really low in top 10, wouldn't you? Now, probably 8 or 9, wouldn't you?
So I was looking at the WBA rankings. So he's not even in the top 15 of the WBA rankings now. Now, we know how politics works.
He will be in a few weeks, I can assure you.
With WBA, you know, the amount of sanction fees that he's paid the WBA over the years for them to drop him out of it.
No, listen. Whoa. Let me just stop you there, Ken. The WBA are Team Joshua and Hearn. IBF, hit and miss. WBO, WBC, they've no time for Hearn. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
The WBA and possibly the IBF are his only routes back. You do know that, don't you? But what I said in yesterday's video, do you remember when Usyk came calling, right, for his mandatory shot? Why did they just give that belt up and let him get Usyk down the line when he's learned his craft? Because we keep hearing that, oh, Anthony Joshua's learning on job. What, Olympic medalist learning on job? Well, what's going on? I don't get it. You.
Well, that's what was spoke about in the first part of this video is why is an Olympic champion, as a two-time world champion, are you learning on the job? Have you learned? What do you need to learn? You're an Olympic champion. You're a double world champion. What do you actually need to learn at that level? You shouldn't need to learn anything, Russell.
I don't need to learn nothing. I shouldn't need to learn nothing. It just shocked me. What about rambling on like some crackhead about I'll go for pensions like last year. He like, I think his head had gone, you know. I think he lost his mind, but I don't want to hear all this mental health and he had concussion and all this nonsense. George Groves didn't carry off like that, did he? He had a bit of an issue fit when he fought Carl Froch first time, but he didn't carry off like AJ, did he?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to that whole AJ privilege from 2007. He's been up at the EIS.
There you go. That's what's going on. They've been doing what they want. They've been up there all that time. Well, they're not up there now, but they've been up there. Everybody around here, all boxing people in Sheffield, they all know what was going on up there. There's his little boys, or whatever they call them, his crew. Who's that G14? I thought that were an aeroplane, is it? Is that his mate's nickname? G14. What on earth is that?
It sounded like as I say, he's had that. He's been in that bubble for that amount of time, for technical sparring. The only adversity he's had in his career, the first time he had adversity in his career, was when Andy Ruiz knocked him out, and he couldn't deal with that. He couldn't deal with somebody that was actually going to stand and head him back. So he's been protected for so long, and when you've been protected so long as a boxer, and you actually have to get in the deep end, as you call a firefight, you don't know how to react.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? What next for Joshua? Do you think he'd be best off just taking rest at year after just going and having some time away?
No, because he's been off. He's had one fight last year, one fight the year before, and possibly one fight this year.
Yeah, but he's not running around, is he? Trying to buy stolen diesel, is he? He's not. He's not in poorhouse, is he?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And
right, okay. So he's happy financially. He's got all that. So is he still going to be hungry, Ken? What do you think?
Does he want to get better, or does he want to come back? Depends on the contractual obligations he has with DAZN. If he doesn't want to come back, he signed that contract with DAZN. He has to honor it. So whether he likes it or not, he will be back boxing. He has to honor that contract.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
has to. What do you reckon the buyout clause of that contract would be?
I think that contract he's got will be something like, if you beat Usyk, there isn't a rematch with Usyk. There isn't going to be a third one. We're going to go for a Fury fight, and you're going to get this much. But if you lose to Usyk, you're in the wilderness then, aren't you? Because you haven't got a rematch. You're not a mandatory number one position, and you don't have a belt. So he goes back at Q. Now, whether they can manipulate the governing bodies is another thing. I don't think they'll be able to manipulate the IBF, because all eyes will be watching now on rankings. The WBC and the WBO. Eamon controls WBC, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Frank Warren's well in with WBO, and so forget them. Undisputed is never going to happen. They know all along it was never going to happen, because there's always a stumbling block in it. But he's out of the heavyweight business now. So I think what they're going to do, they're going to say, it's not about belts, it's about the fighters. Not about belts. They're going to give it all that now, aren't they? I think so, Ken. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only way they're going to do it now is they're going to try and market them globally. Australia, Dempsey McKean, as I've said, possibly Zhang and China to get viewership over there. Possibly the only fight that would generate interest in the UK because of the build-up would be the big Baby Miller fight. I think that is the only way that they can generate it, because they've got proper beef between each other. Outside of that, who else are they going to sell? Who else in the UK are they going to sell out a football stadium with?
Does Joshua and Dylan White sell Wembley out? I don't think it does now, do you?
I don't
think it does.
No. And firstly, Russell, you think about the whole build-up to the Fury fight. Dillian White is unreliable. He didn't sell the fight at all. He didn't help the promotion of it. So why would you want to promote him? And as well, Tyson Fury could have knocked out Dillian White blindfolded in that fight. It was so easy. How can he come back into another pay-per-view fight with such a poor performance against Fury?
I can Derek Chisora. Sounds like Meldrick Taylor, doesn't it, Derek Chisora? Have you heard him?
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. He's with 258. Where does he go next? He's been calling out Zhang this week. He wants to fight him. I don't know where he goes. I'm just, he's 12, 13. I don't know. I've lost count how many losses he's had, but I agree with you. I don't think the public now would buy AJ against Dillian White. It's not gonna sell. No chance.
Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. The media, Bean, not Bean. Sorry, the guard. What do you think to him and Spencer Oliver when they really got stuck into that interview? They lost their minds, didn't they? Really? Do you think? Do you think you're a bit of stardom? Do you think they got starstruck?
Yeah,
A bit.
I think that's the God for you. He is pro Fury every day of the week. He hasn't got an objective opinion, so he's just pro Fury and everything. Spencer is AJ's. He's a pro AJ cheerleader, so his objective isn't right. I think that's the way boxing media is now. I think you see around all the channels that they align themselves with certain camps, and that's the way it is, and that's the only way they're going to get access is with aligning themselves to certain camps to get access. Because if they don't, if they say how they feel and they say the opinions, that they're not going to get access, Russell.
Yeah, it's all a bit bizarre, isn't it, Ken? You think?
It's like a cult. It's just become a cult. The whole, back in the day, you had objective journalism from the likes of Colin Hart and The Sun and various other, even boxing news. Then was pretty up. So now it's no. There's no proper boxing journalism going on now at all, apart from likes of this channel and proper boxing channels. There's no real proper journalism happening in boxing.
Okay. Well, we'll put this to bed then, this Joshua thing on this. I don't think he wins a world title again. And I can see court action between him and her. I see him falling out down the line. I do, because especially you're angry, then you're upset, then you want to blame someone. His team are dropping like flies left, right, and centre, but Eddie Hills is still there, isn't he, on the scene? For now.
That was the only way that DAZN pay-per-view in the UK was sustainable. That was the only way. Now that he's been beat, who would want to pay 26 quid to watch AJ now?
27 quid it was.
27. Wow.
26.95. I don't know. Moving on then from that, Chris Eubank Jr. and the other dude, Connor Crusher Ben, they're going to fight in 6 weeks.
October, yeah.
6 weeks yesterday, isn't it? Less than 6 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, less than 6 weeks. They're going to fight. How do you see that panning out, Ken? And who's your favourite?
It's really hard to say. It all depends, Russell, on the weight. The weight, you can be strong as an ox at middleweight, but when you start coming down onto that weight, think about this. You look at Eubank Jr.'s body fat, how low it is at middleweight. How is he going to make that weight? How is it going to be safe? You look at the dehydration of the brain. You look at, if he's no body fat, he's going to be burning muscle tissue. How can you be strong? Yes, he's the bigger, stronger fighter, but how can you be strong when you've just dehydrated your body and put your body through not preparing for a fight? You're just preparing for weight loss. I can't see how that is going to be safe for Eubank. And how could you perform when you're so depleted?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, isn't it? What do you think about Jose Burton? The talk around Jose Burton fighting Dennis's guy Jack Massiff at IBO. What do you think about
that? That's a really good fight.
And the fight as amateurs.
That's a really good fight. That's an excellent. That's a fight that we don't really say this much now domestically, but it's actually a pick'em fight. It's a really, really good fight. It's an
Sound,
excellent fight.
sounds better than a trade fight. That's usually like two area level guys going at it, isn't it?
Yeah, a trade fight is kind of like, a small hall. That's what we're talking about. Small hall back in the day. It used to be the only way a small hall fight could sell would have been about 4 or 5, trade fights that they get people in because there's no TV. But that's a really, really good fight. And the IBO title gets a lot of stick, but there's more IBO title fights better than WBA regular or WBA fights. So yeah, what network do you reckon that'll be on, Russell?
I don't know. I'd have thought Dennis will want that on DAZN or Sky.
Well, the thing with Dennis is we did talk there about that card last night wasn't great, to be honest, but he did invest in Jack Massey.
There you
That
go.
he did invest. You think about non-commercial television. There's no advertising. There's no real sponsorship. They had to get IBO judges over, IBO referee over.
Venue.
They had the venue. They had to bring the fighter over, plus the cards. I think on that card as well, there was a WBC International as well. So we had to bring the WBC over as well. So that card, he did invest a lot of money in that card, and it wasn't on commercial television. So I hope he gets something back in that because he did invest in that fight.
Okay. What do you think about Callum Smith, Ken?
His career's going nowhere. When he was with Joe, he was winning those competitions. He was a unified world champion. He was a dangerous looking fighter. From leaving Joe, his career is really, he shouldn't be in them fights. I don't want to see him in a 10-round fight or an international eliminator. Callum Smith was at that level where he should be in unification fights again. No, I don't want to see him in that type of fight. He's gone backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to rate him, but for some reason now I watched him other night on that AJ show. Well, it's 8 days ago now, isn't it? Well, 7, 8 days ago. I watched him and I thought, I've never seen him get caught as much as that, Have you?
No, the same with Beefy as well. They were with Joe. They both left Joe, and no, they don't seem to be. Obviously, their career's gone on, and they're moving into the second phase of the end phase of their career. But I agree with you. I haven't seen Cam Smith get hit as much in a fight. Really, that guy shouldn't be going any more than 4 rounds with Cam Smith at his peak. His career's going nowhere. He should be in world title fights, unification fights at this stage of his career, especially with the talent that's in the light heavyweight division, especially in the UK.
Yeah, it's a tough one. What do you think, Joe, about Joe's other fighters? Paul Butler's going to fight in OU December. That's a good fight, isn't it, for Paul?
Well, where else? What it's that thing again. There's people giving Paul Butler stick online, and why is he going over there to fight? In a way, why wouldn't you? It's a unification fight. It's for all the belts. It's a proper undisputed. He's probably going to get the biggest purse of his career. Why would you go and take that fight if you're world champion?
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Paul Butler's a two-time world champion. He's got his 10th positions. That's still a good win. He beat a kid who beat a right good kid, didn't he?
Yeah, he should have been fighting for a world title a year ago.
18 months ago.
Yeah, when Charisma was failing weight and bluffing weight and failing this and that, the WBO actually should have took action then, and he done the right thing. He was offered a last minute opponent to come in, and he done the right thing in not taking the fight. He took that other fight on his own terms because they knew possibly that he wasn't going to make the weight again. So it was good management from Joe. A lot of managers would just say, "Yeah, jump in, take the last minute. You don't really know anything about the opponent, and you could lose. Possibly, if you lose that fight, you could have lost that opportunity of earning the biggest purse of his career. He's two-weight world champion. Why wouldn't you take that opportunity? It'd be crazy if they didn't."
Yeah, he's going to get paid in Japan. Personally, I think he's up against it, but I'll be cheering for him. I think he's in an hard fight, isn't he?
Yeah. I think any fighter in the world against Inoue would be up against it. Any's possibly the top 5 pound for pound fighter in everyone's opinion. So
if Paul Butler pulls it off, it's Joe Gallagher's greatest ever win, isn't it?
It'd be massive for Joe. It'd possibly be the biggest away win for a British fighter in British boxing history.
Bigger than John H. Stracey.
You said the other day you thought that Lloyd Honeyghan against Donald Curry would have been a.
Yeah, that's a good. Yes. Sorry, that's the one I meant. Cunningham. Well, John H. Tracy won in Mexico City against Napolis, didn't he, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Lloyd Cunningham beat Don Curry. Froch beat Jermaine Taylor. There's been good Tyson Fury beat Vladimir. There's been good wins from Brits abroad, haven't there?
Yeah, there has. It all depends, and obviously taking that chance. Kell Brook had a good win away to Sean Porter. That was a good win too.
Very good win, yeah.
Very good win, but where his career went from that it wasn't so good after that. But that fight at the time, Don Curry was possibly the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world at that time. So he was.
I don't know how he could have been that at that time, because you'd have had Hagler, wouldn't you, at number 1, and or Mike Tyson, wouldn't you? Probably Hagler, but Donald Curry, for me, when I look through his record, he didn't show me anything to suggest that he's number 1 then, did you? But Ring Magazine were bigging him up, weren't they, and all that. But I don't know about that. I thought Ray Leonard would have been about then, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or they retiring or something.
I think it's at that time at welterweight was that kind of glamour division at the time. It was kind of the welterweight division was a glamour division, but weak at the time. But we'll have to actually go around and look at the top pound for pound at that time. Obviously, Holyfield was at his best then. You had like Jared McLennan coming up as a young fighter, and I think at that time he was a Kronk fighter as well. The Kronk had a great stable at the time. They talk about now the Kronk style, and he's doing this, and he's trading in the Kronk with Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill isn't Kronk. Manny Stewart was the Kronk.
Yeah, okay. Eubank's going to be in his son's corner, isn't he, for Ben fight? Do you think that's just him trying to put his sentence at limelight? You think?
But how can that happen? He's not a British Boxing Board licensed trainer. How can that happen? How's he allowed in the corner?
Spencer Oliver, Jug Ears. How was Jug Ears allowed to go on IFL bragging about the fact that he's been involved in 3 KSI promotions and made a fortune? Is he employed by Sky and Talksport and all that? Why is he bragging about double dipping in boxing? Because anybody else gets put in front of the board, don't they? I'm not saying Spencer Oliver's got a license, but why is he bragging off about that?
It's
I brought YouTube boxing. I started it all off. You little goody! Yo, what's wrong with boxing, Spencer Oliver? You goody!
It's disgraceful, because you look at last night, that crap that was on DAZN. You had Kella. Kella's a license holder.
Oh, Scarface in his white leather.
Mr. White.
My white leather on Mona tomorrow.
He's a British Boxing Board promoter. How can you be a licensed promoter and promote that rubbish? There was a guy in the ring last night that said in his interview that he had lost like 28 pounds in weight in 4 weeks, and he had only learned to box. How's that safe? The British Boxing Board were involved in that. and there's British Boxing Board license holders involved in that. How's that allowed?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's how was anything allowed in boxing? I mean, you tell me how are all these people getting licenses now who've never fight in their life and they're in the 30s, you know. So it's all a bit, listen, mate, you just got to go with flow, haven't you? That's about it, really. What you got planned for the rest of the day, Ken?
Cycle. We'll go for cycle.
Are you going for a run?
No, I'm gonna go for cycle. It's easier.
How far do you go?
Probably 30 miles.
Are you one of them blokes, Ken, on country lanes that when I would overtake you, you know, I'm like, look at this. So I always ride my windows on and I always shout, nuisance.
No, I'm not one of those cyclists. I'm one of those like cheap cyclists who has an 80 quid Carrera bike. I'll probably wear a tracksuit top and a pair of football shorts on my bike. I'm not one of those.
We have your cap on, Ken. We have your yellow cycle gear on.
No, I'll just wear a pair of football shorts and a pair of trainers and a tracksuit top or something like that. I'm not one of these.
Like you get all them women going after you, Ken, don't they? They whistle when you drive by.
I'm not one of those snobby elitist cyclists. No, definitely not. Definitely not, mate.
What about who is it who keeps emailing me about you on here? Big Colleen, she likes you, doesn't she?
Brutal. Love it. Love it.
She's
Love it.
she says she's gonna make you a jam roly poly when she sees you. Feed you.
Oh, flipping heck. Flipping heck. Well,
the Kentet, they're not. We have the Rhinoettes, we have Grossettes, and we have Kentets.
Flipping heck. It's good that somebody likes you, isn't it? Isn't it?
Listen, mate. When I wake up in the morning, every morning, and look at them emails I get, I'm like, I even want to look at these. I mean, right, paying my mind. Then sometimes you'll get a really nice one, and that'll be better than the ones that are not so nice. So look, swings and roundabouts. Don't take yourself too serious. I tell Julian, don't take it too serious. It's not real life. When people say, I'm going to kill you and this and that, it's not real life. It's not real life.
I seen Julian last week on, and he said that, you know, there's people saying that I'm not as good as Kent or Terrier. And the first thing is, Julian, that everyone's got a different opinion. Nobody's on to be better than anybody else. We're all different with different opinions. And I think Julian's absolutely fantastic at what he does. I think Terry's fantastic at what he does. I think Rico's brilliant. Everybody's Richard is brilliant at what he does. Everybody's got their own wee bit of individuality, and we're not on here to be robots. There's sometimes that possibly I don't agree with everything that maybe Julia and Terry Rico all says, and that's the beauty of it. And they're all different personalities, and if people don't like it and they don't like, don't watch it. So what? Who cares?
Okay, well, listen, Ken, it's been a pleasure. Don't you be overdoing it on that bike, Ken, because I need you as my wingman on this channel.
I'll definitely not.
All right, then. Well, listen, you have a great day and give on my best.
Take care, Russell.
Peace out. Bye-bye. Well, that was Kent from Northern Ireland, Belfast. I've never been there, but I would love to go. I'd like to go see where they built Titanic, that ship docks and all that. I'd like to go there. Oh, yeah. So good luck to Kent. Thanks for coming on. I think these will get out today. What time is it? 1:05 Sunday. Oh, these will get out today because my man's not back well Tuesday. What day is Tuesday on? 29th, Monday, 30th, Tuesday. I don't know if we've had a Joshua overload now after this week. I've had all my regulars will come and give their opinion. I did offer Stig a slot this week, but he's declined the Stig, but he's toying with a comeback to social media. He's a bit of a character. He's quite popular in Sheffield. The lads on here who've met him, Nico and Terry, they like him. So he's funny. If he got it all right about Tyson Fury, didn't he? Beating Wilder, we all got it wrong, didn't we? So if Stig makes a comeback, he'll be coming on here at we'll see, won't we? All right, that's about it, really. A bit knackered now. I don't know whether to go have a game of snooker or just go get in bath and then go take my dog out. I don't know, but either way, better than being Nick in it. So, all right, peace out.